See, people get all dramatic about things like the college football playoffs. People get all dramatic about who's running NCAA football. Who's running the NCAA? The NCAA stinks. Okay, fine. Here's how I look at the world. And I don't know, do you look at it this way? Do you get all upset about the NCAA? Do you? I mean, really? Does it bother you even a little? Doesn't bother me even a little. It bothered me when I was coaching, because when I was coaching, I knew some schools were not exactly playing by the rules. I didn't have evidence. I wasn't sitting there when money was being exchanged. But, I mean, you could kind of tell what was going on here, right? So, let's talk about it. So now the NCAA is basically obsolete. I mean, let's be honest. The NCAA is kind of powerless. They don't have the power of subpoena. What do they really do? They run tournaments. They run events. They host parties. And they do it better than anybody could possibly do it. But now, college football, which is not run in the preseason by the NCAA, but is run by the College Football Playoff Committee, is looking to break away. And they're going to do it. They had a 5-minute conversation the other day. It's the start. It's like you roll a little snowball down a hill. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what this is. The other day, they had a 5-minute discussion on the bigger schools, the Power 5 schools, breaking away from the NCAA and running their own deal, meaning they can make their own rules. They have autonomy from lower budget schools. Now think about this. In that meeting, it was estimated that $500 million has been left on the table by not extending the college football playoff. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about extending the college football playoff. You just heard $500 million left on the table. They're not going to do that for very long. And not having to share money with the Mid-American conferences of the world, with the lower budget teams of the world. That's what we're talking about here. Make no mistake, this isn't about NCAA rules. This isn't about being restrained at all. This is simply about cash, and everybody knows that. When you're talking about $500 million, I got it right here, $500 million on the table by not having a playoff until 2026. It was a 5-minute conversation. That point came up. It's the first conversation, at least that's been reported, a first official conversation of an executive committee in charge of college football. So what do you think the reason for a playoff is? This is what I told you going back to when Oklahoma and Texas moved out of the Big 12 into the SEC. This is coming sooner than later, and right now, folks that are running college football are rightfully upset that this contract goes to 2026. They wish it would go to today. August 18th. If they could make this go till August 18th and change it and extend the playoffs, they would do it immediately. Make no mistake, because they know the amount of money they are leaving on the table. So you say to yourself, how's this going to change college football? For us, the viewer, really isn't. You may see better games all across a Saturday. There'll probably be no Saturday where you look on the TV and you go, well, you know, yeah, there's not much this week. I'm going to go hiking. No, you'll see better games, but that's it. I've never understood this. I don't get why people get so bent out of shape about the money schools spend. I don't get why people get so bent out of shape about the money that schools make. To me, it's like, hey, man, the more the merrier. To me, it's, hey, you guys want to pay players? I don't have to coach them. I don't have to recruit them. I don't have to call them. I don't have to entice them. I don't have to do nothing but sit, watch, and react. And I got to tell you, I don't like it. I love it. So, college football playoff is going to be expanded. College football playoff should be expanded. No question. I want like 64 teams. Well, what about kids going to school? I got to tell you, come in here. I don't care. I cared for years. I cared for more years than I care to remember 10 as an assistant, actually, 12 as a graduate assistant when I had to take kids to school who wouldn't go to school, Andre Harris. All the way through my coaching career, 11 years as a head coach, another 12, 23 years, I cared more than kids did about their academics. Then you tap on the 4 years that I played where actually Coach Knight cared more about academics than I did, and you got a bunch of years. Got damn near 30 years of caring. I don't care whether Joey Bag of Donuts gets a degree. I don't care whether anybody's going to class. I don't care. Does not matter to me a graduation rate. Even at Indiana basketball, I don't care. I don't. I don't know why you do. Well, I want the betterment of all people. You're a better human being than I am then. But this is coming. This is coming soon. And it was triggered as soon. It wasn't triggered. This was happening way before. But the scab that was broke or tore off was when Texas and Oklahoma came from the Big 12 to the SEC. They ain't coming to the SEC with a more difficult path without the assurance that the college football playoff is being expanded. Don't at me about it either. I will not accept ats for that. That's fact, Jack.